So I'm trying to organize my thoughts in different ways. Like from the research perspective, there's first of all not a ton of research being done on the Korean American community with mental health, which there needs more of that to be done, and I'm trying to sort of work through that as well. In terms of 1.5 and second generation Korean Americans, there seems to be, for the first generation immigrants, there is sort of you completely pick up your life, move to a new country, and you learn to survive in an entirely different environment. And surviving that is a huge feat. And of course, a lot of this is very generalized, which everyone has very individual experiences, but that tends to be like a big trope within that first generation population. 1.5, there's specific characteristics there as well. You've had exposure to growth in both countries, and because of that, there's sort of a bicultural mind and experience that you can have as a 1.5 gen. Second generation is interesting. Growing up in the United States and in this country, they reap the benefits almost of like first generation parents, and then in the culture of the U.S. social environment, there's a lot of people that I see who are more curious about their like identity and haven't experienced identity crises and have mental health issues or concerns related around those issues. Now I see a lot less third generation Korean Americans, but what I understand from even the glimpses into the different generations, and I bet that there is probably some implication to being a third generation Korean American of having your parents be the children of the immigrants who immigrated over to this country. You know, I can't support that with research. I don't think there's a lot, if any, really out there. But I would be curious about the impacts of those second generation parents. Would they have unlearned or relearned ways to parent differently to their children? If so, how would that affect that generation? It's also the generation right now of a lot of mental health awareness is rising and technology is rising. So I'm curious like what that would do to their generation, children of immigrants as well. So your question is really relevant because I think the general inquiry right now happening within Korean American research is we're trying to understand these unique concerns and at the same time hold that there maybe over categorizing too could have a downfall as well. That maybe there is a benefit to experiencing and putting our experiences and labeling our experiences and finding community within shared experiences. And I also see a movement towards wanting to experience the holding of our multitudes of realities at the same time as well, and not be put once again into another box. So I just sort of hold those dualities, and I think it's really beautiful that we can actually have these conversations now and think through these things. But thank you for your question.